there, BookTube. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do the try a chapter tag, I suppose. I'm gonna not look at what the tag is supposed to be. I'm just gonna read the first chapter of 3 different books, and I'm gonna tell you what they're about. I'm gonna read first Inheritance of Loss by Kiran Desai, which is a Man Booker book that I've had on my shelves for a while now, until I had to go and eventually buy my own copy, and I still haven't read it. So I'm gonna read it now, and I'll tell you what it's about.
You know how to be a heartbreaker, but you don't know how love goes. Baby, I know. You know how to be a heartbreaker, but you don't know how love goes. You and your magic touch, you and your soft whisper, it's taking me down. I'm seeing things clearer, but I can't hold on. You let go of what was before.
So I'm back. The Inheritance of Loss by Kiran Desai. The first chapter is following this judge. He's been living in Nepal, in the Himalayas, for some time. And when the novel opens, he's sitting on his porch with someone from his household, and they're waiting on some kind of a tutor to come. So they're sitting out there waiting for food, waiting for tea, when they are burgled. And these two boys seem like young men from their community come to rob them of guns, and they demand that the judge should give them the guns that he has. Like, they know that there are guns there. They're insistent, even though he says that he doesn't have these weapons, they're insistent that he give them what they've come for. And when they do pass over these rusted guns from his years of military service, the thieves declare that they want to be served, they want tea, they want to be hosted the way the judge and his household would have welcomed a guest. And so they demand that the cook make them food, that the wife or the woman in the house make them tea. So this chapter shows how the threat of violence could totally take over a situation. A normal domestic situation could totally go awry, as people from the outside could just come and take control of what you think is your stronghold, what you think to be your borders. This chapter shows how easily invaders could cross a boundary and take control of what you consider to be your property. But the fact that the judge himself is not from this country does create a situation where the collision of colonialism and theft seems like it creates the ultimate paradox. Who is the real invader in this situation? So I'm not sure where the rest of the story goes, but this does have great potential. Next, I'm going to read Bernice Rubin's The Elected Member. This won the Man Booker Prize in 1970. And so yeah, let's read the first chapter and see how it goes.
You know how to be a heartbreaker, but you don't know how love goes. Baby,
So I read the first chapter of The Elected Member, and in this we meet this character named Norman, who has inherited a bed from his mother. When his mother dies, on her deathbed, she bequeaths said bed to Norman and effectively kicks out her husband. So the husband moves to Norman's single room, and so Norman eventually starts to occupy the bed that his mother slept on, lived on, birthed him, and then died on. And eventually he starts being disturbed by what other people probably call hallucinations of his mother, but he is convinced that her presence in the bed is real and it is haunting him. And so this first chapter shows this man inheriting something that is supposed to change his life in a good way, but ends up having adverse effects on his mental health and otherwise. And so this is a pretty short book. I think that I should just keep reading and finish it, right? But first I'm going to read the first chapter of Oscar and Lucinda by Peter Carey. This one is a 1988 Man Booker Prize winner, so let's read that first chapter and see how it goes. The first chapter is really short. It's only 3 pages.
You know how to be a heartbreaker, but you don't know how love goes. Baby, I know. You know how to be a heartbreaker, but you don't know how love goes.
First chapter, and it's not quite clear who the characters are. Oscar in the title seems to be the great-grandfather of her narrator, except you know how sometimes in families babies are named after some ancestor, and so I've been wondering if the main character, the narrator's name, is also Oscar. However, barring that, Oscar seems to be the great-grandfather who his mother, the narrator's mother, seems to be very proud of having been a descendant of. And so while they seem to be living in a place and time where the church has great influence, the mother keeps inviting these church officials to their house for tea and seating them so that they can see the picture that she has, a daguerreotype of this Oscar, who was also a clergyman, except that Oscar's claim to fame seems to have been in moving the church from one location to another. And so I'm imagining that this book is going to be some discussion of the relationship between the physical church and the figurative church, and what religion means in our lives, and how people put on false airs for religious figures, because as we see in this book, the narrator is making fun of the way his mother and his father put on this kind of act when these religious figures come to their house for tea. So that was a short chapter. I don't know if I got enough of the story, but I do feel intrigued to continue reading. So it's good to know what these books are about. So these try a chapter tags seem to be pretty good for getting you into a book. I mean, before you read the book, you know, you might know a synopsis, you might know what the book is about kind of generally, but you're not quite invested. You haven't been hooked into the story yet, but doing the try a chapter tag does make me want to read these books even quicker. So those are 3 Man Booker Prize winning books that I have on my TBR shelf, and you know, I have a lot of these Booker Prize winning books around, and I need to read them. I know I need to read them. I'm planning to read them. I want to read them, but having read the first chapter, now I feel like I'm invested in knowing what the rest of the story is about. So these try a chapter tags seems to be pretty good for getting you hooked, getting you invested in the story, and wanting to know what happens next, how these situations get resolved. So thanks for watching my video. That's a try a chapter tag Man Booker style. Those are 3 Man Booker Prize winning books that now I want to read ASAP. Thanks for watching this video. Leave me a comment down below. If you're a fellow booktuber and you've done a try a chapter tag in the past, let me know that in the comments so I can go and check out your video. And whether you're a booktuber or not, let me know in the comments if you like this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, share this video with someone who doesn't know that I have a booktube channel. So we talk in the comments, and until next time, happy reading.